What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will ND, and I'm here with Jackson. We're here to talk some Final Four, some title predictions, and also plans on the NIT, which was a fantastic game. Jackson, how are you feeling? Are you doing all right?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Made some history this season. I'm just happy we made it to the Final Four. How have you
hmm
been doing, Will?
I've been doing good. I've been doing good, man. We got lacrosse season really heating up. We got college basketball, baseball starting, and then the NBA and NHL is coming to a close. So it's a fun time to be a sports fan right now, and I'm just trying to keep up with everything I can.
That's all we can do. Keep up with everything we can, and especially NFL draft coming up a few weeks from now. It's like, man, month
hmm
of April and spring is just not. Is they're just keeping us busy, aren't they? And
hmm
Jay Snow says Bama played what they most certainly did.
Big day, Jason. But I know you've been pulling for the Huskies this whole time, and you gotta be feeling good. hmm
Congrats to the Yukon Huskies, and we
hmm
wish them nothing but awesomeness.
hmm
And here we show out the final four. The one that's not the Bama one, of course.
hmm
We started off with the Purdue Boilermakers and the Cinderella North Carolina State Wolfpack. What was your take on this game?
This one wasn't. It didn't feel as close as the second game. It did feel like Purdue was in control of this game more firmly than UConn was. I mean, but yeah, I mean Zach Edey and the Boilermakers, man, they played some good defense on DJ Burns. He didn't completely take over the game, and the other guys just couldn't quite do enough to keep the Wolfpack from really getting close to the Boilermakers. But yeah,
Yeah,
Matt Painter, he's going to the final. He's going to the championship game. So congrats to him. I bet a lot of people thought that wouldn't happen for him because of all those early exits. But
got a
hey,
weird feeling we're seeing some 2019 Virginia vibes with this Purdue team.
yeah, definitely, definitely. But yeah, Matt Painter, like a lot of people didn't think he would ever make it to the Final Four, but hey, he's in the championship game now, so congrats to him. Kevin Keefs, we thought he would be gone, but after the end of this season, but he saved his job. He got NC State to a Final Four, and I'm sure he's going to get a lengthy extension. Will they regret it or will they not? That will be. We will see about that. But yeah, great season for NC State. Let's see if they can build on it here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least Jimmy Valvano can hug someone in celebration.
hmm Yeah, I'm sure
But
Jimmy was giving a little hug to Kevin up in heaven for the job that he did.
oh yeah. I mean, North Carolina State has made some history, but same with the Alabama Crimson Tide.
hmm
And yeah, we played really hard,
hmm
but there's always next season, and I'm loving what the future of Alabama basketball is bringing.
hmm
And yeah, we lost, but here's what I've got.
Oh,
Ride or die.
he's
Ride
still
or die with Crimson Tide.
yeah. Jackson's staying loyal with the program. But yeah,
That's how
hmm
that's
I
how it
mean,
works.
a
Pull
lot of
what
other
comes
years, like
on.
this Bama team would be in the title game. So if he can get it together, another squad, whether it's next year or the other years, I think there's a good chance that they can get back for the Final Four. I'm with you, Jackson.
It kind of feels like we're like the next Florida basketball with Billy Donovan. I could see that happening, honestly. Because I mean, if you heard some of the phone calls like our buddy Austin and I had, he's like telling me, "Oh, Bama can make it." It's like you have faith in your Crimson. And I told him, "Look, I love my Crimson Tide. I appreciate you believing in them, but I'll be happy if we make it to a Sweet 16."
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, man, I'm glad to see history in the making, especially in our first ever trip to the Final Four. Did it go the way I wanted to? No, but I didn't expect anything like it. I was just happy Bama even made it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And our friend Jay Snow says, when you make the tournament all the time, you're going to have some losses. Some of those losses will be embarrassing. Painter, Purdue deserved to be in the final. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just like the state of Alabama, 10 years ago was a complete and total dung heap in college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But then 5 years later, we see Auburn making it to the Final Four in 2019.
And
And
they got
then,
close to making the finals. They got really close.
yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 years later, we see Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide make it to their first ever Final Four in school history. Man, man, there's just no words that can express my excitement for the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they definitely aren't just football schools; they're basketball schools too.
Exactly. We're rebuilt. We're reloading all the way.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some other games that were not NCAA tournament worthy, but they were still pretty good. We had some NIT matchups that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We had the semifinals. Indiana State and Utah going against one another. Indiana State smacked them a little bit in the second half. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
What-
this was a straight out old fashioned shootout in Hinkle for sure, and the Sycamores and their home crowd pushed them to victory.
For sure. It's a big win right there. That team should have been in the NCAA tournament, but
Mm-hmm.
what can you do? I mean, we're
Mm-hmm.
not the committee, but maybe they should have us on there.
Mm-hmm.
But we see the NCAA tournament made a fatal mistake
Mm-hmm.
turning down Seton Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And Seton Hall showing everybody as they smacked the Georgia Bulldogs 84-67. What was your take on that?
I think Georgia only got in the NIT because all the teams turned it down, man. I mean, they were like barely had a record over 500 going into the tournament. No disrespect to the Bulldogs, but yeah, I mean, Seton Hall was just the better team all season, and they showed it.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that, that's for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
our friend Hamas Hero wishes us a good evening. Good evening to you too, Hamas Hero. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's edition of the College Basketball Recap Preview Show Final Four National Title Edition. And Jay
Mm-hmm.
Snow is giving out a shout out to Shaheen and Seton Hall.
Oh yeah, for sure. Arg maybe. And do you want to look at the title game?
Absolutely. The two teams that should have been in the NCAA tournament. I mean, I saw that this was like a tremendous comeback that Seton Hall made.
Yep, they scored the last 9 points of the game to win.
Yeah, it was a fantastic finish right there. Dave Brown Bourbon Hunter says, "When's the NIT final?"
Sorry,
That's what
Dave. Yeah, yeah, it was
you're good, man. You're all good.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I was heartbroken for the Sycamores. But Shaheen Holloway, hug, hugging the glasses, man. I can't. I should remember his name. I can't pull it right now. But
Oh
that
man,
that was a great moment. So shout out to Shaheen Holloway, stand up guy, stand up coach, and he's doing it with Seton Hall just like he is with St. Peter's. I'm sure the Pirates will be a regular NCAA tournament team starting next year for sure.
I hope he stays there a long time because I know Seton Hall's been his alma mater.
Mm-hmm. He scored a buzzer beater for them over the Oregon Donald Ducks in the tournament back in the day. I saw that on
Nice,
Twitter. Mm-hmm.
nice. Hamas here is sending out his No worries, man. It's all good. We got a
Mm-hmm.
bright future, man. Like with Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide, this season has been a historic season.
Mm-hmm.
Like a historic first. It's I have no no words to express this excitement that I have. I mean, we weren't going to beat Connecticut. I didn't expect that to happen. But
Mhm.
congratulations to the Yukon Huskies, and especially to Locked On Yukon and Mark Zanetto. Shout out to him.
Mhm. I gotta admit, Jason, it did look kind of cool. I don't know. I mean, if there's any other place I would like the NIT to be, it is at Hinkle. I mean, Hinkle does have a lot of history. But yeah, I do kind of want to see it back at Madison Square Garden. But
Yeah, that would be cool.
hmm
Like have the Nets play road games by that time. Just be like, hey, New York, you're not making a playoff race by any means, are you? Just have all your road games on these weeks.
hmm yeah, Hummus. I don't think Dan's going to Seton Hall. He kind of has a better job now.
Oh yeah, he's a happy man.
hmm
He's as fit as a fiddle where he's at.
hmm
But we got the big one coming up
hmm
Sunday night. We got the national
Monday
title.
night, right?
Yep, Monday night. Yep. Yep. We got a big one,
hmm
and it's gonna be whether we can see this Nets team be the next edition of 2019 Virginia, 2024 Purdue, or does UConn repeat?
Mm, I'm gonna have to give it to UConn. I mean, I just think that they have more of a complete team, and that Purdue relies so much on Edie, not as much as last year because they got Lance Jones, but overall, I just think UConn top to bottom is a bit better.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome seeing what happens. I think I'll go with UConn on this one. I'll happily go with them. But if Purdue wins,
If
I'll
Purdue
be
wins, I'll
I'll
be thrilled because I'm rooting for. I don't know, man. UConn Twitter is just a little much for me. They're loud, so yeah, I'm gonna be rooting for Purdue to pull it off.
Oh, what's up, Sean Garner? Said no Jack Smith Sunday's clearly more exciting. Oh man, those they had some great games over there last night with
Mm-hmm.
Iowa and UConn. I mean, that was a
Mm-hmm.
fantastic finish right there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you want to pick that game or is that a no?
Which game?
The women's national
The
title.
women's national title game is a coin flip, man. I don't know who. I, I'm thinking South Carolina's going to get their revenge, but that's a 50-50. I honestly,
Uh,
I would not touch that game.
I'll I'll
Oh,
I'll dare I'll dare to touch it.
Dave, that's cool that you got to see Gene Keady as well.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and Hannes here says, not gonna lie, a bit more into women's hoops this season than probably. I think that's everybody really because of like the amazing plays of Caitlin Clark. I mean that's pretty
I mean,
much gotten.
I started watching the Elite Eight, the Elite Eight for women. I started in the Elite Eight. This
I,
one, I'm leaning South Carolina by 3. I'm just gonna tail Sean's pick or
I'm gonna take.
Thomas's pick. Someone picked. Yeah, it's Sean's pick. I'm gonna tail Sean's pick.
Go. And you know what? I'm gonna take my chances. I'm going with Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm picking the upset. I mean, mm, that this is gonna be a great game. And like my only familiarity with like women's college basketball prior to like Iowa and
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Clark, I'm always thinking about like UConn and Tennessee, that top notch rivalry they had with Pat Summitt and Coach Gino.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Baylor did very well during that time when they had LSU's head
Mm-hmm.
coach.
Well,
And
Muffet McGraw and Notre Dame had some good years.
oh,
They
Muffin.
Muffet McGraw at Notre Dame. I
Oh,
mean, they won. Muffet won 2 natties.
oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah, Notre Dame winning some natties. That was pretty cool.
Mhm.
And Sorgy Story gives out a what's up? What's up,
What's up?
Sorgy? Thank you
What's
for
up,
tuning in.
Anthony?
And Sports Talk with Austin says, I'll be honest, I had no clue South Carolina was unbeaten.
Yeah,
Well, they
they've
are.
had a heck of a season. 2 straight undefeated regular seasons. It's impressive.
And Jay Snow says, I was a great story, but people seem to have forgotten or never knew how good South Carolina is. Dawn and her team are pissed also.
Mm-hmm. They are. Yeah,
And
they want they want their revenge.
yeah. And Sword Story says, sorry about the loss, Jats. Welcome to the We Lost You to UConn Club. Thank you. It's an awesome club. Thank you for having me in that club, man.
Mm-hmm.
I I am. And Jay Snow says they are ready to avenge last year's loss.
Mm-hmm.
Sean says there's no upset possible. And Sports Talk with Austin says hopefully will VCU can make the tournament next year.
I mean, I think as long as we get some good additions from the portal, I think we'll have a great chance. Especially with Max Shulga probably coming back.
Yeah. And Search Story says Coach Staley's incredible, mad respect. And Jay Snow says shout out to the UConn women making the Final Four with like 7 or 8 scholarship players. Oh, UConn always makes the
Mhm.
Final Four every year, man. No worries
Dave, that's
there.
insane that was that.
Wow.
Well, yeah, women's basketball was definitely a different place back then.
Yeah. And Sean
John,
at
that is a great question, and I want to bring some A10 guy on my channel and talk to him about it because I mean the problem is a lot of athletic departments in the A10 aren't ran well, but it's looking like some of them like Duquesne's got their act together, like that they started putting a lot more money into the basketball program, and it hey this year like they got the fruits of that money that they put in and made the tournament. St. Louis made a good hire in Josh Schertz, like and they have a ton of NIL money, but they were just too lazy to fire Travis Ford. But now they're going to be good again. I definitely want to explore that more, Sean, with someone that knows all the squads it better. Because like I've been listening to podcasts about it, but I'm not an expert in it. So for sure, I would like to maybe talk to the three, maybe get one of the 3 big guys on my channel. Probably really good.
well, for those that are just tuning in, if you're looking for top notch expertise on the Atlantic 10, go to Will ND Irish on YouTube and Marcus_era on X and on Klowski414 and threads.net at Klowski414.
Austin, that could happen, but Duquesne's got to do. They got to keep doing well in the portal. For sure. So they gotta keep a lot of their guys in the portal, and I think maybe Duquesne could do it. Sean, that's definitely true. I agree on that.
Yeah,
That's definitely a problem with the eight.
that
But I
does
mean,
hurt
if
them.
the ADs get their act together, there's a lot of teams that could do really well in the A10. Loyola is going to be good again for sure.
Oh, they always will be, man. No doubt about that. I'd hate to be going against Loyola Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
You do not go against them.
Mm-hmm.
But but I'll tell you what, USC has made some gains
Mm-hmm.
this week, especially with the hire they made at head coach. And I'll tell you that whole thing of Andy Enfield leaving seems like it's been a blessing in disguise because they got Arkansas head coach Eric Musselman. We got Ryan, and this from an article from Ryan Young at Trojan Sports at Rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when this hire happened, what was your take on it?
I mean, it's a good hire. I mean, Musselman, he's kind of been hater. I mean, he definitely only runs it through the portal, which I don't love that because there are like possibilities for bad seasons. But the guy's made two Elite Eights in a row with Arkansas, so I think it's definitely a hit for SC. I definitely think they did well in hiring him, but they might not be good at. They're gonna have some boomer bust years though, but definitely think there's a strong chance he can get the Trojans to a Final Four.
That's true. Because I mean, who knows? Maybe USC can be like Bama in college basketball, where they really have some big, huge time success.
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty huge there. I mean, when you're thinking of USC, you're not sitting there thinking about USC basketball. You're thinking about the football program. So we all got some friends that would be extremely happy to see USC succeeding everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay Snow says UMass, St. Joe's, Mason, Rhode Island need to step up. St. Joe's just got a fast guard from Rutgers in the portal.
URI, uh, I don't think Archie's gonna do well at URI, so I think URI definitely needs to. We'll probably have to replace Archie soon. I think Mason and Tony Skin. I think he's doing well so far for Mason in his first year, so I think Mason's gonna be all right. St. Joe's brings in talent, but Billy Lang just isn't a great in-game coach, so that's the problem with St. Joe's. UMass is going in the right direction with Frank Martin, although they did lose Cohen to USC in the portal. That was one of Eric Musselman's first additions, so that hurts UMass. But I think Frank Martin will do is pretty. It will continue to do well at UMass. They had a they took a big step forward this year. Although they're going to the MAC, they're moving to the MAC. So
Oh, yeah. They'll probably dominate that conference if Frank Martin's still there by that time.
Anthony, I hope so, man. I don't know if the Big East wants uh Loyola though, especially if DePaul gets good. That would be kind of a death nail for DePaul though, for sure. If Loyola goes there,
You know,
but yeah, VCU, Dayton, St. Louis could all join the Big East soon for sure.
yeah. I mean, VCU Dayton,
Especially if Josh Schertz does well at St. Louis. Mm-hmm.
VCU Dayton, St. Louis, St. Joseph's and Temple would be pretty good. I mean, I know Temple hasn't been all that in the AAC, but I think they'd be better off in the Big East, honestly.
They would be if they could get in for sure.
I mean, because I mean, all you gotta do is finish ninth in the Big East, and you can just get in March Madness. Whereas, like, if you finish second, third in AAC, you may not get in.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that can help them or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a question about Bronny if he goes to VCU.
If he goes to Duquesne, I'm not sold on Bronny being that good, to be honest. I think Zeb Jackson and Michael Bell will be the two guys that'll match up on him for sure. Those will be the two guys that'll defend him. Unless if we get someone from the portal that's a better man marker. Yeah,
Hamas here.
State left, and
Mhm.
honestly, that hasn't been a great decision. As they've been bad in both football and basketball for a while now, but they were in the A10.
I wish they could just like be a football only member in the AAC.
I
And then
agree.
just be like a basketball only member for the Big East. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we already went there.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have basketball.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they've had good players at SCU. They're not a graveyard.
And Jason O says Temple, the Big East is long story. Temple ain't joining the big. Well, they're technically in the old Big East, which is the American Athletic
Yeah.
Conference. So they're technically there, but they're not in the new Big East. I wish they could join that conference though. That'd be neat.
Mm-hmm.
George says I'd add VCU, Dayton, Loyola, Chicago, Gonzaga, St. Mary's, Oregon State, Washington State. Then when Oregon State, Washington leave, you'll have an incredible 16-team conference.
That'll be an interesting conference for sure.
There we go. I'll throw in another one. Wichita State.
Mm.
Bring back that Wichita State Creighton rivalry that they had in
That'll be
the
fun.
Missouri Valley Conference. Oh, I remember that in 2004 where they were a complete total disaster. They were just yuck. But
Yeah.
Arkansas has been having quite a devil of a time trying to get a head coach. They
I think
can't
they
get
got to
Chris.
go. They got to go with Will Wade, right? Will Wade's got to be the guy. But yeah, they did
That's the
not.
question.
They did not get Chris Beard.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's been a loss. They didn't get Jerome Tang. That's been a loss.
Mhm.
Do you think Will Wade could be like the next Bruce Pearl for them? I mean,
I agree. I think he could be for sure.
I would like to see that.
Hmm.
Wichita State just isn't bringing the market. Their level of play is gone.
Yeah,
What if we had like a annual 3-team series between Kansas, Kansas State, Wichita State?
that would be
Would
fun.
that would help?
Do you remember when Wichita State beat Kansas in the NCAA tournament? That was quite an upset.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
want to see that again. Again.
Hmm.
Missouri Valley Conference, my
Yeah.
days. Do you guys have any suggestions for a partner join the MAC with you?
I mean, UConn could be all but football, I guess. Or I guess
Yeah.
it could be. I mean, UConn could be football only, maybe.
Yeah, UConn as a football only member, that would be great. But Utah, not Utah, but UConn. I don't know where my mind's going today. But UConn being in the MAC as a basketball member,
That
that's
no, that would not be good.
that would not be right. I mean,
Hmm.
you just don't do that to people. Temple football basketball tickets are incredibly cheap for a reason. Well, they're not in the John Chaney days, that's for sure.
Hmm.
And nobody wants to go to Arkansas because of the pressure in the SEC.
Hmm.
Well, for those that tuned in to last night's edition of Sorgy Stories live stream, where Anthony did the live stream of the Iowa UConn matchup, we talked a little bit about Arkansas, Texas A&M, and Texas A&M has a higher budget,
Hmm.
which I think that's hurting. That's going to hurt Arkansas. Unfortunately, nobody's getting excited about going to Arkansas. Sean Garner says Wichita's solid market, and they get great fan support.
Hmm.
That I am, my man. That I am. UConn for football sounds. Yup.
Hmm.
How about
Merrimack, I don't know if they would want Merrimack.
this is a running joke from last Sunday's edition of
Uh,
not last Sunday's, the week before college football after dark.
mhm.
Well, my biggest off-season question is, how does a cat dog use the bathroom? That's what I want to know.
Mhm.
These are the things that keep me up late at night.
Mhm.
But I think Serge says I think there needs to be a Wisconsin Cup where Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Green Bay market. I like it.
That would be interesting. Yeah,
UConn should try smooth. Mm,
I doubt that would. I don't know, Jason. They could try to do that. I don't know if the AAC would let them in only for football though.
well, I mean, they're not going to have the UConn Central Florida rivalry there. That's for
Mhm.
sure. So that's going to be something they miss. A&M has 40 million or so higher revenue than Ark. Yep.
Mhm.
Shout out Merrimack.
Mhm. And
Hashtag
I can
capital.
Mhm. I wondered if yes, there's a Catholic school by the name.
Agreed, Hummus
Mhm.
Hero. But it's like Sean Garner said the other night. It's probably more. he and I both say it's probably more painful for cat than it is for dog.
Austin, they usually scrimmage before the season starts, but I would agree. I think they might bring it. They might have agreed to bring it back again. I think they did. I think they're going to do a home and home in the next 5 years. But I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
I wish they could do like BC or Virginia and Virginia Tech. That would
But
be
they did
great.
do. They did do. We've played like 4 times in the past 10 years, and they've won 3 out of 4.
I want to see like more in-state non-conference, challenge, kind of like the Indiana schools have it, the Big Five have it.
Yeah, it would be fun to do like a Virginia schools one. At least have Tech, UVA, VCU, JMU for sure, or
How
UR.
could I forget, Rich? Thank you,
Yeah,
Sorgy. I
but yeah, I
appreciate that.
definitely yeah. We usually play Radford at home, and those games, but we usually beat up on Radford.
There we
Yeah,
go,
Radford,
Sean.
Liberty, Longwood. I'm sure I'm missing someone.
We'll definitely think of it. 45-42, BC
25.
wins.
Oh man, we could definitely beat UVA this year.
Oh, there you go.
The James Madison Jamboree. Well, if they played it in Harrisonburg, that would definitely be a good name for it.
Yeah, I think if VCU had Virginia, I think they would have beaten Virginia, and then they would have gotten in because of it. It's like, you didn't do so hot in the A10 tournament, but you beat Virginia, you're in.
Yeah.
Big Five, really big six, needs to be restructured so everyone can play everyone instead of this stupid. I hate the new structure. It's a disaster. I agree with you, man.
I think I remember the rest of the schools. So we also have Norfolk State, Hampton, and William and Mary. I don't think I'm missing any other Virginia schools. D1 schools.
There we go. Oh, there we go. And one more question before we head off.
Mm-hmm.
What's everybody's thoughts on the Will Indy Beard era?
Oh man. Yeah,
There
I
we
tried to
go.
grow out a beard earlier, like a few years ago, but now I've aged enough that I can actually grow it out all the way. Almost.
There we go.
Yeah,
Ah,
VCU beat Villanova too. Don't forget about that, Anthony.
nope. That we appreciate that very much, man. Wish Louisville could play.
That would be fun.
I think Kentucky, Indiana's gonna come back next season or season after next. But
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky, Indiana needs to go back to being an annual matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I mean Calipari.
Yeah, Kentucky needs to play both Indiana and Louisville for sure.
They should
Or
like
Indiana needs to play both Kentucky and Louisville. Yeah.
that would be nice. And
Mm-hmm.
I think Louisville should play Kentucky, Indiana, and Cincinnati and Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some
So
money
let's see.
makers.
Bruiser Flint was a great coach at Drexel. I don't think they ever should have gotten rid of Bruiser Flint. I think he would have made some NCAA tournament appearances if they would have kept him. Yeah, St. Catherine Drexel is awesome. Is an awesome saint. One of the best female saints. Anthony.
Oh man, I've got a lot to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good to learn something new every day because if you're not learning something new, then your life gets a little bit boring after a while. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be bored. That's the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
But before we head off, we've seen some history,
Mm-hmm.
and for those that didn't see us earlier, ride or die. We ride or die.
He still loves his tie. Jackson still loves his crimson tie.
That's how it works. I mean, you don't bail when things suck. I mean, this is the best season ever. I mean, we were like, if you had told me we were gonna make it to a Final Four in late December, I'd have been like, are you under the influence? That's what I would have said. But the fact that we
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. I always make sure I show my loyalty to my teams that I always pull for, like
Mm-hmm.
good, bad, or ugly, because I know one of these days I'll be able to see something big happen.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time a school made the Final Four in both?
Are we going back to Florida?
Mm. Which school are you talking about exactly?
Well, I guess Florida didn't make the Final Four, but they made the national championship game. Did Michigan State make the Final Four in basketball in 2015?
Yeah.
For basketball, it could have been Michigan State if they did good in the tournament that year.
Well, let's see. It was Wisconsin, Kentucky, Michigan State, and Duke.
So it might just be Michigan State then, since they made the tournament that year.
Yeah. I mean, I know UConn, has had years where they made this year alone, they made it to the Final Four in men's and women's, but they
Mm-hmm.
lost in the women's Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
So UConn is the best chance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess Florida, Ohio State play. Yes, they did. As a matter of fact, they most certainly did. Um, I mean, both men and women are typically yes, they are. 06, 07. Yep, because I can't really think of a national title for football and basketball other than Florida, Ohio State in 2006, 7. Yeah.
It might have happened before. I don't know.
Oh man, I may be growing a beard thinking about this,
Yeah,
man.
I mean that's too much thinking.
And Will's gonna have a Duck Dynasty beard pretty soon, like with the thinking about this question. But I'm not gonna. But as we have gotten done with the recap and preview for tonight, and maybe we'll see Arkansas get a new head coach by then.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows what they're thinking?
Mm-hmm.
USC's pretty satisfied, but
Mm-hmm.
Monday night we will be back after the national title, where we will not only recap the national title, but we will be going over the way too early top 25.
Mm-hmm.
And Will, what have you got going on in the adventures of Will and D and on Marcus_era, man?
Well, right now, after the national championship game, I'm gonna try to go into some football stuff for more like Notre Dame football previewing the positions and all that for sure. So that'll be a lot of fun.
There we go. You can check out Will and D Irish at YouTube, and then check him out at Marcus_era on X and on Instagram and Threads at Klowski414, where he gives out some of his best takes in the sports world. And as for me, I'll be pretty busy, of course. And for those that are looking to see what's going on what I gotta say here and there, you can also check out my latest episode of the Jacksonian where I had episode 30 with Grayson Boone, the
Mm-hmm.
co-host of Locked On Wolfpack. And we talked so much about what was going to happen with North Carolina State in the Final Four, and we talked about a little bit about the Russell Wilson era at North Carolina State. We talked a little bit about whether NC State has a Cinderella season of their own in college football. Are they going to have that this season? We hope so. I would like to see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And, Tuesday night will be a release of episode 31, where I will have the co host of Locked On ACC and Locked On Wolfpack, Kenton Gibbs, where we're discussing a lot of takes on the ACC, including what happened in March Madness. Can NC State have a Cinderella season of their own in college football? what's the latest on the ACC Florida State lawsuit? And
Oh
what
gosh.
that's been a nightmare. It's just like, can we have one summer away from conference realignment, please? But in the meantime, you can also check me out on Twitter at Jackson0996 0335 and on Instagram threads, JacksJots543908. And you can check me out on YouTube at Jackson Johnson 979, where I'm 186 subs away from 500. And Will, how many subs are you away from 500?
Let me take a little look. It's a good question, Jackson. Crap, I can't tell, but
There
sorry,
we
I
go.
don't. Mhm.
It's all right. Telling everybody, stay tuned to you, man. We're making sure that we tell everybody check out everything that's going on in the sports world and college basketball and so on and so forth. Here we go. It's 114.
All right, so we're on our way. We're on our way.
So you're 386 subs away from 500. Let's
Mm-hmm.
get you to that magic number, man.
Mm-hmm. Thanks,
And
Jack.
until oh, you're welcome, man. Anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime. And until next time on Monday night, this is Jackson Johnson and my good buddy Will and D. We wish you all a good night and to stay safe and stay
Mm-hmm.
cool. Stay away from that pollen. It's gonna mess you up if you have pollen out. Good night, everybody.